With the Warfare Evolutions update having just released for Space Engineers, there has been a lot of both new blocks, performance improvements, and so much more, and we're gonna cover it right here. Hi, and good evening. I'm Alice, and with the release of Warfare Evolutions and the Decorative Pack number 3 DLC, we've gotten a lot of new blocks and content to have a look at. But we're going to start off by having a look at some of the things that were highlighted in the blog post. The entire blog post will be linked in the description, but as we can see in this GIF right here, we finally have improved third-person cameras for when flying presumably both large and small grids. In addition to this, we also have brand new collisions for building with wheels. So finally you can build those designs that you couldn't really do before, unless you wouldn't want to weld up your wheels in survival. In addition to this, we're also getting brand new ricochet mechanics, or rather improved ricochet mechanics, which is absolutely great to see. Moving on from there, let's take a look at one of the more exciting blocks that have arrived with this DLC. Now, at first, we speculated that these might just be decorative fans, but as shown in the trailer for this update, these are actually thrusters. That's right, we finally have a new type of thruster that is a lot more compact than the ones we have currently, as you can see right behind. Now, these are actually, they are full block, but they only take up a 2-wide block of space, in addition to taking up a 3x3. And these ones, 1x1 thrusters. Can you believe it? It is pretty amazing that it took this long before we got more compact thrusters. Now, if we just start thrusting forward, you can actually see the RPM of the fans spinning up, which is a very cool detail, to say the least. It's safe to say that I'll be conducting a lot of testing to see just how different these thrusters are from the vanilla ones, given that they are so much smaller. Moving on from that, we finally get a new addition to the armor panels. And this time we get the rounded corner armor panels in both heavy and light variants, as well as small grid and large grid. And yeah, there isn't really much to say about these, just that it's nice to see the last few remaining blocks finally getting a armor panel variant. Now, next up we have the new pedestal, button, and control panels, and I have to say these look absolutely excellent. The amount of detail compared to the normal button panels and console blocks, absolutely amazing. Now, you do unfortunately only get one button on this button panel compared to 4 on the normal one, though the control panel isn't much the same, but it is great to see a update to the control panel. Moving on, we're coming up to one of the other great additions with this update, and that is thinner suspension. Finally, we actually get a lot thinner suspension, and in addition with the improvements to building with wheels, it is absolutely fantastic to see. Now, I prepared a little comparison over here so you can actually see the difference, and it's not just that the suspension is thinner, but there's actually a different design altogether compared to the normal suspension. That goes for both the vanilla variants as well as the off-road variants. Moving on, we also get a whole bunch of new signs, or well, 6 to be exact, and I can see that some of mine have fallen over. But either way, we have some cool new designs related to AI coming out with this one. So we have some circuitry, what it looks like, or more a memory node, as it literally says on the sign. Very nice. Mimetic Badger. What does that mean? A Badger update? Now, all of these signs come in both a large grid and small grid variant. And here we have a AI grid block warning sign. Advanced general AI in use. Ooh. And then we also get an arrow. Really good to see. Finally getting an arrow sign. We're also getting a AI-powered sign, a good AI sign, and then, of course, the mimetic badger is back, which is good to see. It's good to see that they're fleshing out all of the different signs, and that we have a few more signs to play with and to decorate our builds. Now, this one isn't a new block per se, but rather there are some new additions to the assembler, and that is, yes, more categories. So now it is actually organized rather than everything being under one equipment category. So now we have one for equipment, that is actual equipment. Then we have tools, weapons, and ammunition, which is absolutely fantastic to see, so that you don't have to just scour around through the single section looking for a rocket launcher or the datapad. So it is wonderful to see that we're getting some more categories. And that wraps up everything that's new for the base game. Now let's have a look at the Decorative Pack number 3, and there is a lot to cover. But we're gonna start over here at the very back with the new scaffolding blocks. Now, they come in all different variants and sizes. Here we have just a normal looking scaffolding block, really nice details. And you can actually walk into it, and it does actually have a hitbox that represents all the different pylons, at least the ones in the middle. Hold on, can you actually go through the sides? Oh, science. Okay, no, you can't. But at least the middle pylon is represented and modeled, which is nice to see. Then, of course, we get a ladder variant, as well as many different variants with catwalks integrated. Fantastic to see, very nice. Where you get the half catwalk, you get a corner catwalk, and then a corner catwalk inverted. Then, of course, we also have a straight catwalk, very nice to see. And then we get different variants without the catwalks as well. So we have a half block one, we have a corner, and then we actually have a slope as well. Very nice to see. Now, for those of us who love power production, you're in for a treat, because we are finally getting some new solar panels and a brand new wind turbine. But let's go over the solar panels first. So the solar panels will both come in a small and large grid variant. And the cool thing about these solar panels is that they're actually colorable. So you can make them pretty much whatever color you want. We can have pink solar panels, people. How cool is that? Now, you do get the 3 different variants. As mentioned, you have a standard shaped one. Then you have 2 sloped solar panels. Now, these are also thicker than the normal solar panels by at least, yeah, I'd say maybe twice as thick, if we just put up a normal solar panel to compare. Oh, it is actually more like 3 or 4 times as thick. Very interesting. Despite this increased thickness, they do not require any more materials, which is really nice to see. So we'll have to see what sort of builds people come up with these new solar panels. Now, next up we have the wind turbine, and I have to say it is absolutely huge. It is a twin blade wind turbine, and it's a 5x5x5 compared to the vanilla 3x3x3. So I do wonder if it'll actually bring any gameplay advantages using the twin blade wind turbine compared to the normal one. I honestly doubt it, but you never know. I mean, it's a lot bigger, so maybe it generates more power? Either way, it has a absolutely beautiful design, and it is good to see that we're getting more variation in the more passive power generation methods other than the reactor. If we continue on, one of the least updated blocks finally got a different variant. Now it's the beacon's turn to get a brand spanking new overhaul. And I have to say, it actually looks rather interesting. Both the large grid and small grid variant are looking really nice. And I have to say, I prefer these a lot more compared to the normal beacons. Moving over a little to the side, we have the brand new cockpit. Now this one unfortunately only comes in a small grid variant and is called the cab cockpit. Now it does have some very nice connection points both in the front and in the back, and if we have a quick look around it, it does also have a large connection underneath. Good to see, lots of connection points. It also does have a very fancy looking door and is 3x3x3 in size, meaning that it is actually comparable to the completely vanilla cockpit. If we take a look inside, we can see a very nice and clear view out through the windows, in addition to a good layout for all of the LCDs, so you can actually drive in first person, which is fantastic to see. And I have to say, the interior, wow. I think the interior of this one might be one of my favorites yet. Moving over, we get to the storage crate. Ah yes, the animated storage crate that actually has two different sides. That is right. Now, what I wonder is, are they both connected? Yes, they are. So unfortunately, you don't have two storage compartments, but you do have two sides that you can open it from, which is great to see. Now, if we were to, let's say, put this rifle in, unfortunately, the numbers on the front don't seem to change and they're just there. But either way, it has a beautiful design and actually has a large volume of 3,000 liters. Moving on, we get to the barrels, where we have a large assortment of different variants, but it's only the explosive single barrel and the normal single barrel that come in both a large grid and small grid variant. Then we also have 3 barrels, with 2 stacked up against each other and 1 tipped over, and then we have a huge assortment of what looks to be 10 barrels, just stacked up along each other. Now, the cool thing is these barrels also have storage with... Oh, actually? Each one has a different amount of storage. The 3 barrels have 3,000 liters, and then the single barrel has 1,000 liters. And if we go over to this large barrel, 10,000 liters. So the amount of barrels actually correlate with how much storage space you have. That is actually really nice to see. As for the explosive barrel, it does not have any sort of storage space, but instead it has a control panel on the very top. And of course, we have to test the explosive capabilities of this barrel. So it works just like a warhead. So let us have a look and see. Ooh, the lights actually flash. Oh. Okay, there we got more promising results. Okay. Okay, right. So the warhead is more powerful. But either way, it is good to see that we're finally getting a different type of warhead, even though it's a little less powerful. Even so, it would have been cool to see bigger barrel variants with the explosive barrel. That could honestly open up for a lot of explosive potential. Next up, something we have never actually gotten an update for. We got a new medical room. Finally. Goodbye, old little medical room, and say hello to this brand spanking new one. It looks absolutely stunning. The amount of detail and the new connection points that might be a bit more practical, it is absolutely fantastic. And with the recharge terminal now being over here, and with a just more open design, it is absolutely fantastic. But we're not only getting a new medical room, we're also getting a new cryopod, an inset cryopod actually, which is really nice to see. Now it works just like a normal cryopod, and has a connection point on the back. Now it's a shame that it doesn't have a door, That would have been a very cool addition, but either way, we're finally getting a new variant of the cryopod as well. Absolutely phenomenal. If we skip a little to the right here, we can see we've gotten a new LCD, or actually 4 new LCDs. But we'll start over here at the holographic LCD. Now, if we have a look up here, we can see that the LCD itself is very thin, being around the size of a corner light, and it actually projects the image forward, which is actually really, really cool. Now, I've found that it doesn't work quite well with every single image that you have in your LCD selection screen, so you'll have to try a little for yourself and see if you get similar results. If not, it's probably a bug and it'll get patched shortly. And of course, we do get a small grid variant where the LCD is projected very far forward compared to its large grid counterpart. So I wonder if that is something you can edit, because I did not find a editing option for that exactly in the menu. So yeah, because it doesn't look like you can actually change how far forward or backward you want the LCD, which is a little bit of a shame, but nonetheless it is good to see that we're getting not just 1 but 4 new LCDs. Now, in addition to getting an inset LCD, we're actually getting a corner and rounded LCD, something I don't think a lot of us were even expecting to get. Now, the design around is quite plain, but just the fact that we're getting inset LCD in multiple configurations, that is absolutely wonderful. And besides, we have never gotten a corner nor rounded LCD, so that is absolutely fantastic. Now, coming up to our last little strip of blocks here, these are all new decorational blocks that will make your either ship or base feel a lot more homely. And we'll start over here with the inset couch, but it really feels like this update should have been called the inset update. Either way, so we're finally getting, yep, a brand new couch, which actually has a very beautiful design with plants on the sides, with a little control and access panel. So there is a lot of different use cases and potential for this block alone, even if you don't use the couch itself. You might even just use this plant, for instance. Moving on, we also have a inset bed with a little storage area. And oh, look at that! You get the tiny little plushie as well. Oh, and actually you cannot look upward. On this one, you can only look to the side, which is very interesting. So does that mean I can't actually look in third person? But oh, look at that! We actually sleep like a normal person. This is groundbreaking game design. Wow. The design is absolutely gorgeous. And we actually get 2 ways of accessing the storage on the bed, with a panel just above the bed and 2 panels on the side. Now, we're not just getting a single inset bed, we're getting 2 of them. This one being a half block variant. And looking at these shutters, I wonder if this could actually close. Oh, this time we get to lay straight up. Do we lay normal? We lay just like we do in the normal bed. But either way, now I'm curious, can you... No, you cannot close the shutters. That would have been really cool. But either way, the fact that we're getting more bed options with an adorable little plushie on the side, that is absolutely fantastic. Do you actually need... No, you don't even need the plushie item to actually make them. So, this is how you get yourself a free Space Engineers plushie. Moving on, we're also getting a brand new button panel. Yes, not just one button panel this update, but 2 of them. This one being the inset button panel. Now it has both a very large display and 3 configurable buttons on the sides, in addition to having even more displays along the side, which is absolutely fantastic to see. So it kind of works as a corner button panel, so to speak, given that you have multiple screens as well as the 3 configurable buttons. Skedaddling a little to the right, we get to another inset block, but this time it is the inset entertainment corner. Now, looking at it, it has a pair of speakers, so I'm curious if this actually is able to play sound. And it looks like it is. So if we just go ahead and get ourselves the, I don't know. Where, oh, hold on. Ah, here it is. So where is the, where's the fun music? Okay, so after adding our music, how do we start playing it? No, but we have various different ways of accessing the entertainment corner with very beautiful designs all around. So but how do we play the music? Alright, so it is the tiniest buttons ever on the entertainment console. But it works as both an LCD, a large LCD screen, and a brand new speaker. So, a new sound and jukebox block. Okay, you can stop now. In addition to that, we also get a inset bookshelf. Now, I never thought I needed a bookshelf in Space Engineers, but this one honestly looks really nice. And we have some different kinds of books. Let's take a bit of a closer look over here. Let's see, what do we have? Looks like we have one on war, light reading volume 6, and then how to spell clang. And they do preface not with a K from the looks of it. Let's have a look. Moving parts, the Sabroid biology, high voltage. So there is space jokes. There's a ton of different books, including one dedicated to good AI once again, and actually History of Minor Wars 2081. Ooh, we're getting some lore here. Even a book about the monolith. That is engineering for dummies. Rocket science. Really good to see a bit more humor and some nice smaller details coming in with these blocks. Making it daytime so we can actually see again. The inset bookshelves actually have storage as well, which is nice to see, and a little counter with a few coffee cups that says I love ROS. What does ROS mean? I wonder. So once again, a somewhat plain look around the outskirts. Coming up on one of our last blocks for this update, we have the inset kitchen. Yeah, this really should be called the inset update. But as we can see, we have pretty much just a kitchen with a little trash chute down there. And what looks to be a small screen. Unfortunately, you can't interact with it. A rehydrator and a coffee machine. As well as, once again, even more storage space, with many different access paths to that storage, with also a little control terminal on the side, and overall just another gorgeous design. Man, all these new blocks are really gonna help spice up those interiors. But there is one that I've saved for last, and that is the inset aquarium. That's right. Water in Space Engineers confirmed with fish. Look at that. So I can't believe it. We actually have water in Space Engineers and fish. We have actually living things other than the wolves and sabroids. Absolutely fantastic. And the fact that it is even animated too with both the water and the fish, it's absolutely stunning. With, of course, a little filtration system underneath with oxygen additions. And does it have storage? It does not, but it does have a small little voltage panel on the side. Overall, absolutely fantastic. Now we can have both plants and fish inside our builds. Absolutely phenomenal. And whilst I've been walking around, you might have noticed the new armor skin that has been added, which is called the War-Torn armor skin, which also comes along with the DLC. But it is a absolutely gorgeous looking skin. Like, not gorgeous in the sense that it looks pretty, but gorgeous in the sense that look at all the detail, like all the wiring, the torn apart armor, the bullet holes, and the different ripped apart segments. It looks fantastic. But that essentially wraps up the update for today, which I have to say, whilst it is a good update, it was a little disappointing that we didn't see much more other than the scenario related to warfare. Nonetheless, all of these new additions, particularly the thrusters, suspension, and all of the new interior blocks, are really going to spice up some of our builds. But with that, I'd like to thank you all so much for watching. If you liked this video, why don't you hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss out when I test these new thrusters, or when I experiment with the new wind turbine. And I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye!